Good afternoon, everyone. Guess what? It is Soul Sunday with Ruby and Allison.
What's up?
And yes, we are getting started a little late today, but that's completely fine. And if you have something to say, then just send it to my inbox. Yes, do that. But with it being Sunday, of course, you know, like I said, it's Soul Sunday with Ruby and Allison, and today we will be discussing chakras and relationships.
I'm excited. This was gonna
Right.
be good.
So I like talking about chakras, and Allison likes talking about relationships. So we get to put them both together today and talk about it. Real quick to our replay viewers, if you happen to catch this on the replay, please comment your name and where you're watching from below so we can go back and thank you later for tuning in. Of course, if you feel that anything that we say resonates with you or will be beneficial for somebody else, please feel free to share the video and also ask questions, engage. We like comments, whatever. But, you know, however you feel you want to engage, please do so. Please feel free to share the video. Please send us some likes, some hearts, some angry faces. Just interact with us.
Yes, please do.
Hey, Tamisha. Thank you all for watching and tuning in. For those that don't know me, I am Ruby D, the Goddess Entrepreneur and the Soul Speaker. I am the author of the Goddess Grind series. I am chakra expert, author, speaker, and entrepreneur. And I am also the creator of, in addition to Soul Sunday, every Sunday with Allison, then I also have Happy, Healthy, and Healing that is once a month. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. I think it's this coming up Tuesday, the following Tuesday. Mm-hmm. But March 27th will be our next episode with myself, Allison, and Tara. So that's enough about me. I'm going to go ahead and let Allison get started with her introduction.
Peace and blessings, everybody. This is Miss Allison Denise. I am the founder of Be Still and Move, the child company of the HGL Group, and we are designed to help you heal, grow, and live beyond that relationship status by becoming better, not bitter, and enjoying your life along the journey. I am a teacher, I'm a healer, I'm a speaker, I'm a writer, an author, a blogger, radio personality, and I actually dabbled in acting, if you can believe it, just a little bit. I still can't believe it myself. But I am tremendously happy to be here. I think it was last week that Ruby let us know that we've been doing this for 4 months already, and it has flown by. So we thank all of you guys for joining today. I am super excited about this topic, so I'm going to shut up so we can get started.
Yes, it's been 4 long months going on 5 and hours of content. So if you haven't watched any of the past episodes of Soul Sunday, you can definitely check out my YouTube channel and be able to watch them all. That's right. Almost like binging on Netflix, but not quite the same, but close enough. But with today's topic, chakras and relationships. Mm-hmm. Of course, a few weeks ago, I started talking more about the chakra system when I do my Soul Sunday shows because, of course, Allison and I, we are advocates for self-love and self-care. And of course, don't get it twisted. It's not about you just focusing on yourself and yourself only. What we mean is that you focus on yourself in order to become the best version of you so you can be the best, whatever it is that you're supposed to be to everybody else. Right. So with doing that, I started to focus more on the chakras because I did realize that a lot of people don't know that much information about the chakra system or that it even exists. And the way to make it real for everybody or to make it plain is to basically tie it into our everyday lives or situations and things that we deal with on a daily basis. So, of course, it's always going to be a hot topic. Hey, Tanisha, I already said hey, Tanisha. Hey, Coronado, thank you for watching. But everybody likes talking about relationships pretty much in any degree, whether it's friendships, intimate relationships, polygamous relationships. It's always going to be a hot topic, period.
Exactly.
But When it comes to relationships, of course, I always look at it from the chakra system. Hey, Renee.
Mm-hmm.
And a few weeks ago, I did do a full show on each of the chakras, so you can go back and watch that. And then we talked about the chakras and mental health. You can go back and watch that. Then we talked about the chakras and the professional or the business aspect of it. And you can go back and watch that one. And now we're talking about relationships. I said that to say I'm not going to go into full detail about what the chakra system is,
Right.
but we are definitely going to get into a little bit today. So with our first chakra, it is our root chakra. And of course, we know the root chakra is associated with being grounded and feeling safe and secure and basically knowing why you're here on this earth. Well, as that relates to relationship is that, of course, you know, as we grow up, we all want to have this nice big wedding with this big Cinderella dress on and find our Prince Charming and our knight in shining armor. And then, you know, we pretty much have our wedding planned out before we even meet who this person is. But then as we get older and older and older, and we still haven't found that yet, then of course we start to question, well, why am I not married at 25? Why am I not married at 35? Why am I not married at 45? And that it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with us. But what I want to point out is how that ties into our root chakra, because we were raised to believe that we should be married at a certain age. We should have a certain number of kids. We should do certain things by a certain age or by a certain time. And if it doesn't happen, then that affects our root chakra. And we began to fear, well, maybe is there something wrong with me? Am I not doing something right? Is there something that I need to change? Or we start coming up with these different, we try to come up with these different reasons and trying to figure out what's going on, but not realizing how that's affecting us and how we choose to move forward in our life, or how we choose our partners, or what we choose to deal with and what we choose to settle for. So I'm just going to stop right there a little bit, and I'm going to let Allison go ahead and chime in, because I know she just itching to say something.
You know I am. So the thing about the one thing that I wanted of several that I want to say that what Ruby brought up is related to what she said about us being taught to that we should be married by a certain age and have certain things by a particular age. And, you know, in addition to us being taught that, you know, if you pay attention to society has even created this time frame where you should have certain things. You should be graduated from college at this age, and you should have your master's degree by this age, and you should have this amount of money in the bank, and you should. And I want to focus on that should. That should is what is keeping people from being content with where they are. And that is going to directly affect your root chakra, because you don't feel secure if you feel like you're behind where you should be, or don't have what people said you should at this particular age. And it's important for you to get to the point of understanding that where you are is where you're supposed to be. Where you are. If you're still single, it's because you are still meant to be single. It does not mean that there's something wrong with you. What frustrates us is when we look outside of ourselves at what other people have. That hurts us. That hurts our ability to feel secure with where we are. And we're not saying if you're single and want to be married to be okay being single. We want you to be content being single and still want what you want, but understand that it's a matter of it being your turn. So in the meantime, make sure that you remain grounded in who you are, what you have, what you possess, and you don't start letting the things that are happening with other people and the things that you're seeing outwardly affect how you see your worth inwardly. So that's all I wanted to add.
Well, thank you, Allison, for that input. And now we're going to, of course, some of these things we're actually going to come back to, but I just want to go ahead and get through all 7 of the main chakras. So then that way, if you have any questions or anything like that, then you can go ahead and start asking. The next chakra is our sacral chakra. And that particular chakra is associated with our sexuality, our feelings, our emotions, relationships with other people, and creativity. And of course, I'm sure when I mention sexuality, feelings, and emotions, then that's pretty much what a lot of relationships, unfortunately, are based on. Of course, when we meet somebody, we the first thing that we see is what they look like. Are we sexually? Are we physically? Can we see them? Once we go through that part, well, us being attracted to them, then it's like, okay, we start hanging out. Now, how do I feel about this person? Do I like this person? Do I love this person? Do I see myself with this person and whatnot? But what we fail to realize is that if we haven't, one, ended ties with whoever it was from our last relationship or something like that, that can affect the current relationship that we're trying to move to. Or if you don't know how to effectively deal with your feelings and emotions, that could be a problem. Or if you haven't even dealt with the feelings and emotions from the last relationship and you have all this baggage, then it's going to be a problem moving into the next one. But the thing is, we never look at these things or see how they apply to our chakra system because, for one, most of us don't even know we have a chakra system. But I hope after today, you have a better understanding of it. But pretty much that's how the sacral chakra is directly related to our relationships with other people. Definitely sexually, definitely depending on how we feel, how we think about this person, the type of relationship we're going to have with this person, and how we not only how you feel about this person, but also how you manage your emotions while you're in the relationship. If you're not good at managing your emotions outside of a relationship, you're not going to magically learn how to do it in a relationship. So I'm just going to stop there and let Allison do her thing.
Yeah, this one is really important because, as Ruby mentioned, this seems to be the first area people look at, and in some ways, it seems to be the only area that seems to make sense. And we see that in the news. I've heard that from some of the brothers that I've spoken with, some of the sisters that I've spoken with, and I even had the I was fortunate to listen to a conversation between two people, in their 20s, who basically said that, they tended to have sex on the first date because in their mind, if there was no sexual chemistry, then there was no need for them to continue. And that, was the completely flip response of what I typically go into a relationship looking for. I want to make sure that there's compatibility and connection, and I understand that there is a spiritual thing that takes place when sex happens. It doesn't matter how freaky you try to make it or how emotionless you try to make it, there is still a spiritual connection that's attached, and I just don't want to attach to everything. And so knowing that there are people who have that mindset, I also have the misfortune of seeing the aftermath of that, where sex is the main focus, and then a pregnancy happens, and then it's not until that point that you realize, well, I didn't realize that she didn't know how to take care of herself. I didn't realize her house was this, and I can't believe she's about to give birth to my kids. Or, you have the flip side where somebody else is like, well, man, I didn't know that he didn't have his own place. I didn't know he was staying with his mom, and I didn't know all these other things. And now he's going to be the father to my child. And it's because no one took the time to do the research and to take the time to make sure, is this person worthy of connecting to me?
Right.
Do they deserve to be connected to me? And by no means am I saying that you should, give your body to the highest bidder. I'm saying make sure that that person wants you and isn't just looking to live out some hip hop fantasy that he or she keeps hearing about on the music that they listen to. Make sure that they're not trying to live out some, reality show lifestyle because that's all they watch. You want to make sure that the same thing that you see as entertainment doesn't end up becoming your actual life. And so it's really important that as much as you want to be connected to this chakra and the sexuality, having control over it, and the emotions, it is important to stay connected to it, but not in the sense of just saying, I'm so connected that I'm going to be great in bed. That's not the point. The point is that you are so connected with your own sexuality and your own emotions, that you are strong enough to withstand those urges when the only people around to give you fulfillment don't deserve it. You're able to say no. So that's what I wanted to add.
Is y'all listening though? Is y'all listening? Not are, is. I need y'all to effectively understand where we're coming from, because that aids in effective communication. But for those that are just tuning in or just not watching it, Allison and I are discussing the chakras and relationships. So this is definitely for men. It's for the women. Hey, Unc, how you doing? Yeah, it's not for just one or the other. Everybody needs to be listening. It don't matter if you got kids, don't have kids, married, not married, single, dating, looking, stalking. It don't matter. It don't matter. Next is our solar plexus chakra. And of course, our solar plexus chakra is associated with us and ourselves and our self-confidence and our self-esteem. And basically, you attract exactly what you put out there. So if you have low self-esteem, you have low self-confidence, you don't believe in yourself, then guess who you're going to attract? Guess what type of relationship you're going to have? You're going to be in a relationship with somebody where both of y'all are not confident in yourselves. You don't know how to really communicate to each other to let the other one know. But when it comes to the solar plexus chakra and relationships, a lot of us don't even love ourselves enough to even want to really work to become that ultimate version of us to attract that ultimate version of a mate that we desire. You can't I'd have to look in my book, but there is a universal law that says you pretty much can't manifest anything outside of where you currently vibrate. So if you are vibrating on a frequency of like 1, there's no way you're going to attract a mate that vibrates on a frequency that's like 5. Mm-hmm. It's not going to work. So what you have to do, I'm not saying you can't get that person. You can. It's just that you have to put in the work, self-love, self-care, self-respect, self-everything in order to raise your vibration. So as you raise your vibration, of course, you start setting standards for yourself. You start setting boundaries for yourself, what you will deal with, what you won't deal with. So you're not stuck in a relationship, or you don't attract somebody that's out here just taking you down and through there. And you just sitting down dealing with it because you don't love yourself enough, or you don't have enough confidence in yourself to say, you know what, I don't deserve this, and remove yourself from the situation.
Right.
I mean, what do you expect? People always want to talk about, well, my mate this and my mate that, but really never say, I did this and me this and me that. You always want to look at the other person and what the other person isn't doing or what the other person is doing. No, it's you. You either allowing it, you're not holding yourself accountable for whatever part you're contributing to it. So don't always go to the other person. Your solar plexus chakra has everything to do with you. Look at yourself, work on whatever it is you need to work on, and then, really start manifesting the type of mate that you deserve and that you desire. And that's all I got to say about that, Allison.
Yeah, so the two things I want to bring out of this, number one, when we talk about you holding yourself accountable, we are by no means saying that you are contributing. Well, I'll say I'm not saying, and hopefully Ruby will agree. When I think of that, what I want people to understand from my viewpoint is we're not telling you that it's your fault someone cheated and it's your fault someone is being abusive. We're not saying that you've attracted that. What we're saying is, even if the role that you're playing is that you're still there, that's still a role. So you can't be responsible for how someone chooses to behave. And at the end of the day, everyone has a right to do, think, feel, and respond the way that they want to do so. Where you have the control is deciding, and I told one of my sisters this just last night, you have to start, especially if you're in a relationship that's toxic or hurting you or you're not getting needs met, you have to go ahead and separate the person from the behavior. And sometimes that makes it easier for you to separate. Because a lot of times I hear people say, well, I don't want to leave him or her because I love them. Okay, fine, you love them. But let's talk about what you know you deserve. What we're saying is give yourself time to balance your solar plexus chakra out, to give yourself time to understand what you do want, what you don't want, what are your needs, what are your non-negotiables. And then you make a decision based off of how a person is deciding to treat me. Does it line up with what I want in my life? And once you separate it and make it just that simple, you're able to say, I don't want this behavior. You're not saying you don't want that man. You're not saying you don't want that woman. You're saying you no longer want that behavior. And so now it is back in their court to decide if they're going to do what you need done to remain in your life. And you've got to be willing for that person to decide that they don't want to. They may want to deal with an easier target. But the last thing that I want to bring up is when we're talking about the solar plexus chakra and the fact that this is all about you, and using Ruby's example, you may be vibrating at a 1, but maybe the mate you want is at a 5, and the two of you are not going to connect until you elevate. Part of that elevation is to understand that you do need to be alone. You got to stop finding these painkillers. You got to stop finding these fill-ins. You got to stop finding reasons why you deserve to have somebody and why you deserve to not go to bed alone. It's not a matter of what you deserve. It's a matter of where you are, where you want to be, and what you're offering. If all you can offer, and this is how attraction works. Some people don't think about it this way. If all you're offering, let's say your emotions are cut off. Your emotions are cut off, and the only thing that you can offer to a person is, let's say, money. All you're going to attract are people who use you. Because here's the thing, by you going out looking for companionship when you don't even have the emotional availability to give that person, you're being selfish. And because you're being selfish, you're connecting to selfish people. It's just showing up a different way. So this is why it's so important to spend time by yourself. No one likes to go to bed alone. No one likes to not have sex when they want to have sex. I get it. It doesn't mean that you're going to die without it. So just something to think about.
Yes, like she said, nobody don't have they don't have sex.
I'm just saying.
That's the way you said it. Like, well, let me say it because I'm gonna say it anyway, so I might as well just get it out as quickly as I can get it out.
Get it out.
The heart chakra.
Yes.
And thank you all that are just now tuning in. Hey, Tate. Allison and I are discussing the chakra system and relationships. So, hey, if you feel like anything that we're saying is beneficial or resonates with you or somebody else can use it, please share the video. Give us some hearts. Give us some likes. We like all that kind of stuff. Yep. Hey, me and Allison been coming on here. I ain't got no earrings on. Girl, why you didn't tell me? I just realized that. Let me put these on.
I didn't change mine. It looks like I'm not.
Hold on. Wait a minute now. Hold on now. Hold on.
That can't happen, huh?
Right. I was like, wait a minute. I got no earrings on. Hold on. Okay. Now I got your bobs on. Y'all know I'm country. But the heart chakra. Look, do we even really have to discuss the heart chakra? Y'all know what y'all got a heart for. Mm-hmm. You got to be able to give love. And in order to give love, you got to be able to receive it. It's basically a revolving door. It's never ending. Mm-hmm. But the one thing that I do want to say about love is, everybody has their own definition or their own understanding about what love is to them and what it looks like to them and what it feels like to them. And honestly and truly, nobody is ever going to love one or the other the same amount because you really can't measure it. But you do know when you're in a situation where you feel like you love somebody more than they love you. That's not to say that they don't. It doesn't mean that they're not loving you with everything that they have. But just keep that in mind. But you also have to realize, just like you give love to other people, you have to give love to yourself. Mm-hmm. Pretty much a lot of us don't know what love feel like because we don't know how to give it to ourselves. We really were not taught to love ourselves. Mm-hmm. And now we pretty much have to go back and learn it. And now that we have to go back and learn it after we put everybody else before us, it's not the easiest thing to do. But it is very much so possible. Just
Yes.
make sure that you take time to love yourself, and as you do that, then you're able to accept love from other people. Like I said, it may not be exactly what you want it to be or what you desire it to be, but just because it's not what you expected, don't, just completely disregard it. Some of us, want this nice car,
Yeah.
but just because you got to go to work and work for it, it looks different now because you really have to put in some work and effort for it
Right.
instead of it just coming to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this person may not love you like you think you should be loved, but just stay with them, just work with them, just be open to it, because trust me, it's somebody out there that's receiving love from you, and you may not necessarily be giving it like they want to receive it. So you have to look at it both ways.
Mm-hmm.
But um pretty much, that's all I'm really going to touch on with the heart chakra, because like I said, it's pretty much self-explanatory.
Yes.
Allison?
I want people to know that self love, when we talk about loving yourself, some people I've talked to are just like, well, yeah, I keep hearing I need to love myself, but I don't know what that means. And so, what I want you to understand is when clearing out this heart chakra and learning how to balance it out so that you can both learn how to give and receive love, you have to also remember that, as with anything, making money, starting a business, whatever, it's the little steps that you keep making that make the big impact. It's not some big, uh, we're not saying that the only way to show that you love yourself is to leave a toxic relationship. Oftentimes, the reason you don't leave a toxic relationship is because you haven't done the work in the little bitty areas. And so I just want to give some examples. Self love can be deciding that you're always going to keep your house clean no matter how you feel. Now, I'm not sure about other people, but there are some people, we all have that thing that kind of goes to the wayside when we're in our feelings or sad or hurt. For some people, it's emotional eating. For some people, they go shop a little too much. For other people, they may were eating healthy, but now they're not. And for other people, it's their house. They look around, they're like, oh my God, what in the world happened? And so self
Mm-hmm.
love could be no matter how I'm feeling, even if I'm crying my eyes out, I'm gonna cry my eyes out and make my bed. I'm gonna cry my eyes out and keep my bathroom clean, keep my living room clean. That is self love. That's saying I love myself enough to not be in a messy home and to not keep myself disorganized. Self love can be making sure that you do what you need to do to pay your bills on time. Self love can be, no, I want lights. I don't need to go to this concert or buy this pair of shoes or go on this trip with my girlfriends. I need to make sure my lights are paid. That's self love. That's saying I
Right.
love myself enough to take care of my immediate needs and not focus just on my wants. So those are just a couple of things that you can do to start focusing on that self love, because as you start to do those things, what happens is those little things are elevating you vibrationally. And so
Mm-hmm.
doing those little things will get you to the point that you get into a toxic relationship and know that you need to get out. And you can walk away with no drama. You can walk away without feeling like you made a mistake because your self love has elevated so much that you now vibrationally can't stand being around a situation that doesn't keep you where you are. So it'll be easier
Exactly.
to walk away. And so when we're talking about self love, those are some of the things that we want you to think about. And also remember this, I'll just say this quickly. We're all born in an area where we have a native language, but you're also born with a particular love language.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say your love language is Spanish. Stop trying to make someone who speaks German make you learn to speak German just so you can receive the love that they have to offer. They have to be willing to learn to speak Spanish on your behalf while you learn to speak German on their behalf. That is what a relationship is. It's not about, okay, well, I need to hear I love you, but he mows my lawn, so and that's just going to be okay. It's never going to be okay because you know what you need to hear. You know that. So, in addition
Absolutely.
to him mowing your lawn, he needs to learn to say, I love you, because that's what your language is. And vice versa. If he tells you that he needs to hear thank you when you open the door, but you decide that you want to buy him flowers, That's not his language. You need to learn, give him flowers, and say thank you. It's about expanding the love that a person has in their life, not trying to get them to manipulate or trying to manipulate them to accept
Right.
it the way that you want to give it. So keep that part in mind too, because as you work on self love, you'll understand that it's not right to expect someone to just take what you give. You have to give them what you want, but you also have to give them what they've asked for.
Exactly. Now, girl, we finna move on to this throat chakra. Look, I'm always, wait, let me get the claps. I'm always talking about effective communication.
You
Effective.
it up today.
Y'all, this throat chakra.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna stop clapping. I'm gonna put my hands down. But this throat chakra, effective communication is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason it's so important is because, well, let me tell y'all what effective communication is versus communication.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody can say, go to the store. That's communication.
Yep.
But if they say, go to the store and get me a bag of such and such chips and this kind of drink, that is effective communication because you know exactly what their intentions are.
Right.
You know exactly what they need.
Yes.
That's the difference between communication and effective communication. So when it comes to these relationships, y'all, we have to learn to clearly talk to each other. Like, for instance, when you're dating, if you know you're not really trying to be in a relationship like that, just go ahead and communicate that. It's okay.
Yep.
If you know you don't really like them like that, then say that. It's okay to say that. But, you know, for some people, you just have to make sure that you're in a well-lit area with a lot of patrons around because some of these folks out here are kind of crazy. So you can gauge when somebody, you know.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, sometimes when you just have to be a little more discreet and a little more go to the bathroom, but then you really end up going home. But not only that, in telling them, you all that are listening on the other side, if somebody tells you, hey, this is what I want, you can't get mad because what they're telling you is different from what you want to hear.
That's right.
And you have to understand that they're being honest with you. And do you want them to be honest with you or do you want them to lie to you? And then you end up in a situation that neither one of y'all, well, that they really didn't want to be in. And then now they're stringing you along and you feeling some type of way. And now you want to blame them for how you hurt and whatever, but you're not listening to what they're saying. We have to learn to effectively communicate when it comes to these relationships. Not only that, some of us pay more attention to things that we shouldn't even pay attention to. And then we end up in situations in our relationships that should have never been a situation in the first place. Like, for instance, social media. Some of y'all get on here, just typing subliminal messages and all this other kind of stuff. And then now your boo on Facebook, like, hey, well, I saw you put this post. Well, no, it wasn't really like that, but it probably really was. But you didn't want to say nothing. Instead of saying something to your mate, you want to go on Facebook and all this other kind of stuff. Stop that.
Yep.
I mean, especially when it comes to these relationships. And we just have to get better with effective communicating, saying what it is that we really want, saying what it is, what we really mean, while at the same time understanding exactly what the person is trying to convey to us. Stop listening for what you want to listen for. Stop hearing what some people have selective hearing. I can clearly say I'm not interested when you just heard I'm not interested right now. It's like, no, I'm not interested, period. But because you're really not trying to hear what I'm saying, now you didn't put yourself in a situation and now I got to deal with you more than what I really got to deal with you, even though I was upfront with you. Stop that. That is not cool. Okay, Allison.
I actually, I did a topic on this on one of my videos called Yet Syndrome. And Yet syndrome is exactly what Ruby just mentioned. It's when someone is mature enough to tell you up front, I'm not looking for a relationship. And in your mind, because you've already sized him or her up, they have a lot of the qualities that you're looking for. You decide in your mind to add the words not yet to what they've said.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're dealing with someone who has been mature enough to tell you very quickly what they do and don't want, when you add yet to that situation, you have now attached yourself to the disappointment that's coming.
Yes.
So it's very important that you listen to what a person has to say. Now, in addition to that, when we're talking about saying what you feel, like Ruby said, if you're dealing with a person, you're dating, and you know that you're not looking for anything serious, say that up front. Here's where I see some of my brothers and sisters mess up though. You wait until you know the person wants you.
Wait, I'm a clap for Allison. Okay, go.
You wait until the other person is into you to say something, and now you've made a decision that you deserve their time, you deserve their attention, you deserve their love, you deserve their affection, even though you have no intention of giving it back. There's no excuse for that. That makes you selfish. So when we are talking about the situation of knowing what you want, yes, that goes back to you spending time with you. What do I want? What do I not want? But you also have to start working on your selfishness. A lot of y'all are so freaking selfish. You decide what you deserve without any consideration to whether that person, should get it back. Reciprocity, basically. You're not thinking about the reciprocity. You're just thinking about what you're getting. So
Right.
those of you who are mature enough to tell a brother or sister at the beginning, I don't want anything serious, I'm just looking for friendship, understand that there are consequences to every action, and you have to be okay with the consequences that are in the particular bucket that you've decided to put yourself in. If you are dealing with a man or woman who has let you know that they want a relationship, they want something long term, and you know that you don't, then the consequence is you don't get that man or woman's time. Stop trying to monopolize it. Stop trying to manipulate it because you think they're a great person and because you think they have that's great. So either come over to what they've told you up front they're looking for, or you deal with the consequence of not having them around. This is not hard.
Not at all.
It's really not. What makes it hard is your selfishness. You don't get to tell someone else to minimize or downgrade their needs because you want them at your level. You meet up to their level or you bounce. It's really not difficult. So when we're talking about speaking, I want to add consistency in your actions to that. My brothers, my sisters, if you're dating someone and they let you know that they're into you and you know that you want to stay single, then you need to follow through saying that you want to stay single by
Right.
not trying to be their friend, not trying to reach out and check on them, not trying to move it into a different area because you're still not thinking about their feelings. Is friendship possible later on? If you haven't been intimate, it'll be a little bit quicker of a possibility. But if you've been intimate and that person is in love with you and you don't want to go that next step, you need to leave them alone unless you're ready to take that next step too. Let them heal. Let them get over the disappointment. Let them get over the pain because they are disappointed. The fact that you don't feel those things doesn't mean that it's not happening. Leave
Right.
them alone. Stop calling them. Stop checking on them. All those little things do is give them hope that you might be changing their mind. That's on you, not them. Back off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I have to say about that.
Situationships.
Yep.
Third eye chakra. Pretty much the third eye chakra is associated with us following our intuition, discernment. Excuse me.
You all right?
Decision making, seeing the bigger picture. And pretty much the biggest thing that stands out to me as far as the third eye chakra in relationships is discernment.
Yes.
Y'all need to start paying attention to who's for you and who's not for you. stop ignoring these signs, stop ignoring these red flags, stop pretending like you didn't see it. It's, if you don't care, then that's cool. That's all on you, but don't sit here and pretend like you didn't meet this man staring at somebody else. You know, you in the mall, y'all walk by each other, you see dude looking at some other girl butt, and then you know, say something about it like, I see you, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden y'all want to start talking. You met him looking at a different female. Don't, you can't get mad because he looking at other butts all the time when y'all out. That's how you met him. And I'm saying red flags like that. He has kids that he doesn't currently take, that he does not currently take care of, and now you want to have kids with him. You know, don't ignore that. Mm-mm. Guys, she worked at a strip club. That's where you met her at. She was dancing on somebody else when you were looking at her. I mean, can't get mad about that. And of course, these examples are kind of like, you know, just kind of out there.
Yeah.
But okay, I'll bring it back in some. Okay, you were friends with this guy. Y'all been friends for a long time. And because he had a girlfriend, then you decided, well, you know, we just gonna be friends or whatever. But somewhere in there, you found out that he was a cheater. So because him and his girlfriend broke up because he was cheating, not saying that he cheated with you, but you just, you know, heard this somewhere or you found this out. And okay, that now they're no longer together. And then y'all two start talking and whatever. And then you're like, well, I've been knowing him this long. Maybe he won't cheat on me. And it's just like, so you really just not going to pay attention to that. You just going to pretend like you didn't know. Or that's something you just going to overlook because y'all have history. A lot of y'all like that word, history. Y'all need to stop looking at history sometimes. But follow your intuition. Your body tells you when somebody's not for you. Your body tells you when somebody's energy is not right. And y'all know this. I don't know why y'all just walking around here acting like, I didn't know. No, you did know. Now, trust me, I'm not speaking about those situations where, of course, you know, in Allison's situation where she didn't have any signs and something, you know, it just all of a sudden happened. That's completely different. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about those situations where you clearly knew and you clearly saw or you clearly heard or read or whatever the case may have been. And you just chose to ignore them. You just chose not to follow your intuition. And then now you stuck in a relationship or a situation that you can't get out of. You talking to this dude, and the first day, as soon as he gave you, as soon as you gave him your phone number, he calling you, he texting you, he sending you pictures, he doing all this other kind of stuff. You knew he had stalker tendencies right then, but no, you just decided to just keep on communicating. See, he's gonna take me out to eat. He gonna do this and he gonna do that. All right. That's all I got to say about that, Allison.
So I have two things. So the first thing is when we talk about, and I'll use the example that Ruby gave. That was a really good one. Where you're friends with the guy, you might have been feeling him, but you realized he had a girlfriend. So you said, okay, I'm gonna pull back and I'll just be his friend. And then of course you found out he was a cheater. One of the things that we have to do, men and women, we have got to stop letting our ego inside these relationships. Okay. Now I've made the same mistake because I'm a damn good woman. But here's the thing. I can't let my good woman status get me to the point that I think I'm above someone mistreating me. You having history with a guy, him telling you all your secrets and you becoming friends with him and all that, none of that gives you an extra level of loyalty.
Right.
It doesn't. What you need to look at is his behavior. Now, is there a chance in the situation Ruby gave? Is there a chance that maybe the girl wasn't who she was in the beginning? Is there a chance? Yeah, there's always a chance of that. But here's the thing. When I'm dealing with someone who turns out to not be who they said they were, or they start to change and I bring it up, my answer is not to cheat on them. My answer is to leave them. So when you're dealing with someone who decides that they'd rather have an extra piece than cut off the piece that's not helping them, that's a character issue. And that character issue is in them. And since it's in them, That means you have no way of controlling it. It doesn't matter how many secrets you have. It doesn't matter how many times he's opened up and told you about his relationship. That crap doesn't matter. You're no longer in the friend role. You're in the same role of the girl he cheated on. He doesn't know how to handle that role effectively. He can be your friend all day long. He doesn't know how to
Right.
handle that role as a boyfriend correctly. So stop thinking that your ego, or letting your ego tell you that you're so big and so great, and you're so much taller, you're so much lighter, your hair is so much longer, you have so much more money, your butt is
Right.
bigger, your penis is bigger, your breasts are bigger. There's no way anyone's gonna mistreat me. Yeah, there is a way, because there's always a choice. There's always a choice. So you got to remember that. And the second thing, when we talk about this red flag thing, understand, and this goes back to all of the chakras that we've talked about so far, understand that you can be your own red flag. And what I mean by that is, if you're in a place of vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
If you know you're in a place of vulnerability, and all of a sudden you have all of these men coming around that are telling you what your ex didn't, and offering you what your ex didn't, and wanting to treat you the way that your ex didn't, that is not a sign immediately after leaving that relationship that you're on the right track. You know you're still vulnerable. You know that that situation took something out of you and has brought you down vibrationally. So when you have these men who want to, your ex never said I love you. Now you got a guy who's telling you in a week, and your ex said he never complimented you, and now your first date after that, he's telling you all night long how good you look and how nice your body looks and how good you smell. That is
Right.
feeding your ego. But here's the thing, you are vulnerable. You know who else knows that? Every dark force that is against you. Of course, they're going to give you exactly what you want while you're down.
Exactly.
So now you've gotten rid of a snake, and now you've got you've met a man who basically is a two-headed snake. If you are vibrationally lower, you can't meet vibrationally better. It's not possible. So understand that you can be your own red flag. That's where you have to self-reflect, accept that you're going to be alone, accept that you're not going to have sex for a while, accept that you're going to sleep in the bed for a minute. Understand that you can be your red flag. He's nice, but I'm not where I need to be. Let me get where
Right.
I need to be and see if he's still around. Because 9 times out of 10, they won't be, because those same people were probably toxic too, because that's still the vibration that you're in. But now he was a lower level of toxic because you were a lower level of hurt. So just keep those
Exactly.
two things in mind.
Okay. Thank you, Allison. Tate says, example. On the movie Why Do Fools Fall in Love, when she saw the needle marks in his arm, it's almost like it turned her on. Why are some women attracted to drama-filled men? Simply because they're drama-filled women. That's all that is. Whether they admit to it or not, they attract exactly what they are.
Now, I'll add another caveat to that. There are drama-filled women, but this is also a situation where you could be dealing with codependent women with low insecurity who feel that they have to prove their love to receive the love that they want back. And I know that because that's how I was raised, and that's something that I had to work out of. I was brought up thinking you're supposed to give your love freely, but you're supposed to work to get it back. And so some of those women will see a man who is in hurt, who is in pain, or in some kind of a dramatic situation, and they'll think, oh, this is it. If I stay with him through this, he's going to see that I love him for real, and he's going to stick around, and that'll be the way that I keep loving my life. And that's not how it ever, ever, ever happens. What you end up with is someone who knows they're sick. They don't want to be better, and so they'd rather you be sick with them.
So then y'all gonna be two drama-filled sick people
Yep.
together.
Yep.
All right. Thank you for that, Tate. Last chakra is the crown chakra, and of course, the crown chakra is associated with our. Oh, it's no problem, Tate. I knew what you meant. I know sometimes spell check, messes up. So,
Yeah,
I knew
it
you meant
does.
move, not move. But try that again, and I'm gonna read it exactly like you wrote it. That effective communication I was talking about. You better be glad I effectively listen and understand. The crown chakra. It's associated with our spirituality, us being able to give to our higher self and not always our lower self, but knowing that there is a difference. When it comes to spirituality, yeah, I highly suggest that, in terms of, y'all are equally yoked.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're spiritual, then you'll probably want to be with somebody that's spiritual. If you're religious, then you'll probably want to be with somebody that's religious. That's all I'm going to say about that part. As far as your higher self and your lower self, just know that as far as relationships, we let me see. With this being with being in a relationship and how the crown chakra applies, then I would really suggest just know exactly what it is your higher self deserves. Mm-hmm. Now, if you know your higher self deserves respect, it deserves love, it deserves honesty, and all of this, then why are you entertaining somebody that's lying to you? Why are you entertaining somebody that's that doesn't make you a priority? They're not, their words and their actions don't match.
Right.
And you're pretty much just giving in to your lower self for the sake of having somebody there.
Yep.
Let's not do that. Because we just simply don't deserve that. And honestly, it's a lot of people that have basically settled for that type of relationship. And you don't have to. Mm-mm. But because some of us just don't want to be honest with ourselves, you know what? It's not even about us being honest with ourselves. We know our situation. Yeah. You know that you're not supposed to be in it. Yeah. But just for the sake of, I don't know if it's people on the outside looking in, y'all want to pretend like y'all good because of what other people have to say. That may be, that may be the case. It may be you just feel like you really don't deserve better. And that's why you stay in that situation. You know what? You just hold yourself accountable for it and don't get mad. If that's all you're going to end up with, that's all you're going to have. It's all about where you're vibrating. If you're vibrating low, guess what you're going to get? Pretty much that's, all I'm going to really say about that. That's all I really can say about it. Man, it's the same way. If you want a woman that's going to allow you to lead, allow you to be the man that you feel like you should be, she's not going to, every time y'all out in public, she always just loud for no reason. Yeah, I've seen some of y'all out there and I just be like, ooh. Come on, let's go. But y'all know those types of females, and guys, I feel for y'all in that situation because it's nothing you can really do. You can't, of course, you can't put your hands on her, and then of course you can't just get back all up in her face, right? And you just really stuck in a situation. And the best thing that you can do is just walk out while she running behind you, still hollering, still fussing, and all this other kind of stuff. Just go get in the car and go home. But just understand that your higher self deserves somebody that's going to treat you exactly like you want to be treated. And if you never give yourself the opportunity to be that person in order to attract that person, then you're always going to be operating in your lower self and living in your lower self. That's right. And that's all I got to say about that.
The only thing that I'll say with what Ruby's saying is that you have to decide, and I think I don't know if it was one of our videos or one of my own, but when it comes to the relationship piece, it's really simple. You have to get to the point where you're willing to be alone instead of settle. Right. What happens is what you're more fearful of is what has control. So if you're more afraid of being alone, then you are going to keep making excuses and allowances for people who treat you badly because you're more afraid of being alone than being mistreated. But when you become more afraid of being mistreated than being alone, by default, you're going to meet a different set of people because you're going to be eliminating a different set of people. And so you have to get to the point, and I'm not saying that anyone should be okay being single until they die. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you were given those two options, even though I don't believe that that's something you'll have to deal with, if you were given those two options, you would rather be alone than mistreated. That gives you another level of power that toxic people can't take from you. So that's all I have.
Well, all right. Now that we've gotten through all of the chakras, now I do have just a few other points, because me and Allison try to stay within our time frame, but sometimes we go over a little bit, and that's completely fine. But one question that I posed was, how does balancing my chakras help my relationship? So if you're already in a relationship, and then of course with everything that we've gone through and pointed out about each chakra and how it relates to a relationship, trust me, we only went over a small part of it, but chakras can apply to relationships in so many different ways. We just don't have time to even talk about all of them. But with everything that we've gone over, then let's say, for instance, with the sacral chakra, as far as your sexuality or your intimate relationship that you have with your partner, the way that it helps is, I've talked about this before, where sometimes when, I'm not even going to say sometimes, all the times when you're intimate with somebody, then there is energy that each person carries. So if that person never clears negative energy or energy period from past lovers, and you've never done it, then you have all this mix of energies from people that you slept with, they've slept with, and then people that they even slept with, and so on and so forth. And then now you both are together, being intimate with all these different energies of people that you don't even know where it comes from, and you don't know what their mindset was. You don't know what issues they were dealing with or what their problems are, and you could be experiencing relationships in your relationship that's not even yours. That you can be dealing with energies and situations from people that were like from 5 years ago that both of y'all slept with, and now y'all coming together and not understanding why y'all bumping heads. When you balance your chakras and you clear out that energy, trust me, it's going to help in that relationship, because it helps to clear all of that energy out, so you know what's yours and he knows what's his, and y'all can just come together and have that work together. With the throat chakra, effective communication. If you all learn how to effectively communicate and not always arguing and always going back and forth and not understanding each other and not knowing what the other person meant, pretty much when you're in a relationship and you balance your throat chakra, you start to argue a lot less, because you're more mindful of what you're saying and you're making sure that you're communicating exactly what you mean. And as you're communicating exactly what you mean, then your partner understands that, okay, she's talking from her level of understanding and experience, and I have to respect that, because when I start talking from my level of understanding and experience, she's going to respect me. And it's not like we're trying to go at each other, trying to prove the other one wrong. It's just that we're getting a better understanding of what's being said and what we feel. And now that we fully understand what's going on, okay, now let's talk about it and discuss how we're going to work through this and how we're going to make this work. Back to the sacral chakra, feelings and emotions. When you learn how to effectively manage your feelings and emotions, then that greatly helps in your relationship, because you're not getting jealous over little things. You're not getting mad over some of the smallest things. You're not allowing something as simple as something somebody said outside of the relationship that don't even have anything to do with your relationship, saying something negative, and then you bring it back home and now he mad because you brought it to the house. It's like, what you bring that to the house for? I mean, is it true? Do you believe it? Is it a problem? We need to discuss this. And it's just like, if you knew that what this person was saying was completely irrelevant and just didn't matter, why would you even bring it? You should have knew right then, you know what? Even though I might feel some type of way about it, I know that's not the type of man that I have at home. So, You know what? I'm just going to leave this alone and just not even bring it home. So then you've effectively managed your feelings and emotions behind what this person said, before it even came to your house, and now you're not creating an issue from absolutely nothing pretty much, because what they say shouldn't matter. But I mean, I'm just gonna kind of stop it right there because I can go on and on and on and on and on, but I'm not. Allison.
I'm gonna let you take this because you're still the expert. I'm just listening. I'm like seriously sitting here taking notes and all that good stuff.
Oh, okay.
I'm good.
But it's just, overall with balancing the chakras, when pretty much when I'm talking to people about balancing chakras, it's not to say that once you're balanced, your life is going to be perfect.
Right.
You're not going to have any problems and you're just going to be happy. And then it's going to be all of this. No, that's not how it works. Pretty much with balancing your chakras, you react to situations differently. You understand that there's a reason for everything, and you allow yourself to find the good even in the bad, even in the down times. Even when your relationship isn't doing so well, you know that beyond this day, there are so many other days of pure bliss and pure happiness, and us just being together and working on the type of marriage or the type of relationship that we've always wanted. And when both of you see it that way, then you're able to work through those days where it's just like, you know what, if he breathed on me one more time, if I hear him chew one more time, if he leave that toilet seat up one more time, I swear, or if I come in this bathroom and see hair everywhere one more time, if I touch this counter to get my toothpaste and it's curling wine, burn my hand one more time, or just anything.
Yeah.
And it's just like when your chakras are balanced, then it's just like, you know what? I know I've come in this bathroom before and this seat has been up. Let me just check and make sure that it's down.
Yep.
I mean, the same amount of time it takes you to get an attitude is the exact same amount of time for you to say, you know what? Let me just put the seat down. It's really not that. It's not.
That's so true. So true.
And trust me,
yes,
if you go in that bathroom and you see hair everywhere, it's just like, why? Just pick it up. Just go ahead and pick it up. It's only like 2 strands anyway, and you about to make a big deal for 2 strands of hair. Really? Ain't nobody saying nothing about that taco meat on your chest, but we're not gonna go there.
You are acting up.
I'm just playing. But y'all get what I'm saying, though. Y'all get what I'm saying, though. When you balance your chakras, you just deal with relationship issues and things on a completely different level, because you deal with it individually first, and then you decide what to take to the relationship. Just like they say all the time, you know which battles you have to fight, and you know which ones you just kind of, you just back down and just not even say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You get better at that.
Yes.
When it comes to breakups and balancing chakras, you know that, okay, you spend more time to think about what's happened instead of just getting heated and y'all just arguing back and forth. And then when it comes to the makeup, y'all can, focus on healing that sacral chakra and just, really get into some nice, little makeup sex and everything,
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying get creative with it. And then, of course, when you're dating and you're talking about balancing chakras and everything, you can help each other balance your chakras. If this person's heart chakra needs some balancing, or this person's throat chakra needs some balancing, y'all can actually talk to each other. If you're balanced, you can tell them what you've been doing to balance your throat chakra, and maybe that's something they can try. Or if it's a situation where both of your heart chakras need some work, then start doing activities together to help to balance and heal that particular chakra. I mean, come on now. It's another reason to spend time together. It actually allows us to connect on a deeper level instead of just creating attachments. Y'all gonna get enough of creating attachments. Trust me. Y'all gonna get tired of hearing me saying it. And y'all gonna be like, you know what? Just because I don't want to hear Ruby talk about it no more, let's just connect. And that's all I want. I just want y'all to connect. But I'm just going to kind of leave that there because I think y'all get what I'm saying. And I've actually missed a whole bunch of comments with me talking. Amon says the word love should be too weak to define what your other half should mean to you. You have an excellent point. People throw the word love around when it's actually something, it's probably more deep than that, but because they don't know any other word to use, then that's what we go with. Tay, listening to you ladies, I just found out that I'm not even finna read the rest of that statement. Tay, go home.
Oh, Tay.
I know you probably driving from church. You go home. No, you know what? Go back to church. You need Jesus after that statement. Go back to church.
Esther, any of them.
I love the way you both are communicating this information. You are making it so clear and enjoyable to listen to and apply. Thank you. We really appreciate it. That's our goal. Mm-hmm. We want to just talk to you instead of talk at you.
That's right.
We thank you all for engaging in everything. Tay, if I see golden or silver sponge hair in the sink, Allison, explain that joke. I don't even want to. You know what? I know I got gold hair and Allison silver. You know what? I don't even want to know, Allison.
Whatever.
I'm not even okay because we kind of running over our hour a little bit. What I wanted to say was. For everybody that's watching now or on the replay, of course, because I do chakra consultations, I also do couples chakra consultations. And if you want to save $75 off of a couple session, go to www.thegoddessgrind.com and book a couples chakra consultation, and you will save $75 whole. Yay! Cue the crowd music and clapping hands and everything. Yay! Book now, book now, book now. But yes, I also do individual chakra consultations, which you can also book at the website as well. But yes, definitely do that. That's pretty much all I got. I mean, like I said, the only thing we've done today is just scratch the surface of this topic.
Yeah.
Next Tuesday, not this Tuesday coming up, but the following Tuesday, we actually will be continuing this conversation on relationships with myself, Allison, and Tara. You guys do not want to miss that. That's all I'm gonna say. But that's going to be with Happy, Healthy, and Healing. And y'all, I have some views on relationships, and I'm not afraid to share them at all. Not at all. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I wanted to touch on relationships and the chakras. Mm-hmm. And that's why we had Soul Sunday this Sunday. I hope you all got something out of it. And like I said, if anything that you feel we've said has been beneficial or it can help somebody else, please feel free to share the video. I am Ruby Davidson, the Goddess Entrepreneur and the Soul Speaker. You can find me online at www.thegoddessgrind.com. You can find me on Instagram at Ruby D Artistry or The Goddess Grind. I'm also on YouTube. You can just type in Ruby Davidson and search me there. What else am I on? My Facebook business page, Ruby D Artistry. You can join either of my groups, Happy, Healthy, and Healing, or The Goddess Grind. If you want me to speak at your next event in regards to chakras, entrepreneurship, mental health, trust me, I can talk about a lot of different topics. Then just email me at info@thegoddessgrind.com. And Allison?
This is Allison Denise. You can find me on Facebook under Allison Denise. You can also find me under Be Still and Move, both the group and the page. The HDL group, which is a 501c3 nonprofit that Be Still and Move is being sponsored by. And you can find me under the Rise Financial Education Group, where we are delving into some different financial topics specifically for the Black community, but for everyone, so that we can learn how to effectively restore, insure, invest, save, and enjoy our lives. You can catch me on my YouTube channel. I will be still in move. You can also locate me under that handle under Instagram, as well as under Miss Allison Denise. You can find me on Twitter under Be Still and Move. I have completely gotten rid of Snapchat. You can check out Friday's radio show from the Bad Squad to find out why. And speaking of the Bad Squad, you can also catch me there every Friday night on Fishbowl Radio Network from 9 to 11 Central Time on fbrn.us. Download the app, catch us on the green stream, and Be Still and Move Live. The podcast is coming. I think that's it. If it's not, it will be for today.
It sure is, because we about to shut this down.
Yes.
But again, we thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you catch us next Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what we're going to be talking about next Sunday, but it's going to be about chakras. You know what? I'm going to start bringing my list of topics right here because I have it over there. I just can't go get it right now. But trust me, next week's topic will be just as interesting as this week's topic. But we look forward to seeing you next Sunday with Soul Sunday. Definitely let us know what you all think. You can actually just comment below this video because, of course, we want to know what you think about the show. I mean, come on now. We've been doing this like almost 5 months now, and y'all just going to watch and not going to say nothing?
Give us feedback.
Just be on here running his mouth all the time. Be like Tate. Thank you, Renee. We love you too. And we thank you for riding with us because you be riding with us.
Yes, you do. Thank you.
But we love you. We appreciate you. We look forward to seeing you all next Sunday.
Yep.
Peace. We'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I'll wait for this button to pop up so I can click on it again and say bye-bye.